Hi, it's the Catholic CEO, Henry Katarna. Recently, in our series on the Catholic economy, I've been talking about the principles, the major planks in the platform, you could say. Or another way to put it is, how would it work and what does it look like and what are the aims of it? Today, what I'd like to do is spell out some action steps. What should we actually do at the family level, at the parish level, at the community level? And I'm going to suggest action steps in 5 different areas. By the way, before I do that, I hope you'll check out our website, www.thecatholicceo.com, because we have some offers there. We have some programs, we have some free courses, we have a download set, we have a 52-week case study. We have a number of things that will help you as a Catholic business owner to set up your businesses. We believe that you can be Catholic and successful in business. You can do both. It takes some care and attention, but you can do both. Anyway, getting back to what I have in mind today, action steps. I'm going to cover 5 different areas. First, I'm going to talk about how we should buy from Catholics, Catholic-owned businesses. Secondly, I'm going to speak about how we should sell to Catholics and Catholic-owned businesses. Third, I'm going to talk about how we should employ Catholics, how we should hire Catholics as employees, as contractors, as suppliers. Fourth, I'm going to talk about how we invest, how we can invest in Catholic businesses to create that economic powerhouse that we've been talking about over the last few series here, the last few sessions. And finally, fifth, I'm going to create some action steps for us, suggest things we can do directly in the area of providing business advice, business mentoring, business coaching, business knowledge, so that more people can build businesses and become independent of the culture. And so let's take a look at some action steps in the first area. If Catholics could increasingly buy as a group from Catholics or from the wider society, as a buying group, as a powerful group of people who band together to set out specifications and to go out into the marketplace and either buy from other Catholics to support their business, or to go into the wider community and go in as a buying group. So here's a few quick ideas. One is, we could create Catholic networks. We could create buying groups that actually help us to specify what we want to buy. Let's say we need to buy any number of examples, paint, or let's say we want to buy even vehicles, I suppose, or services like contractors, electrical, plumbing, heating, HVAC, that sort of thing. If we created networks of specialty areas and Catholics could then join a buying group, we might require warehouses. We might require a central place to store materials that we purchase as a group. You can imagine it could become quite a powerful enterprise, especially if we were able to finance it. When people are ready to buy, they usually have the funds to buy it. If we also had a large enough group, we could get bank financing probably to set up buying groups that could actually purchase in bulk at significant discounts, store it, or even store it just temporarily until it's delivered and shipped to the various people involved. If you could imagine this starting at a parish level, or even at a community-wide level in your town or in your city, anywhere in the United States and Canada, it could work. So we could also set up specific industry-oriented groups. So let's say we have Catholic plumbers, Catholic-owned plumbing businesses. Well, they need to buy all sorts of things, and you can imagine what that would be. They need to buy not only the supplies like piping and tools and equipment, but they also need to buy products. They need to buy sinks and bathtubs and showers and kitchen counters and taps and any number of things, heat pumps, valves, and so on. Furnaces, even hot water furnaces. There's a lot of industry specific buying group behavior that we could foster. In one sense, all we have to do is organize it. And I realize that that's not easy, but other groups in society do this. And so why couldn't we actually prepare product-specific buying groups? We could also do the same thing for services. If we need services like painting, cleaning, maintenance, repair, landscaping, why couldn't we band together and form a buying group and then make contracts? Can you imagine in a parish if, let's say, people who don't cut their own grass, let's say, or shovel their own snow in the snow belt cities and towns? What if we banded together and went out to a supplier of those services, whether Catholic or not? Hopefully it could be a Catholic business, and then we would really support a local business in our parish. But what if we put together a bid and said, we have 35 houses, 35 Catholic families in our parish that want to buy lawn cutting, snow removal, gutter cleaning, whatever it is, pavement marking, yard cleaning services, sweeping of parkades or sweeping of driveways, sidewalks, that sort of thing. If we could identify all of that and then go out into the marketplace and get a discount, yes. And even if we didn't get a discount, just the very power in the economic system in the marketplace could be very interesting. We could also, as action steps, create a marketing arm for this. We would have to create perhaps websites for buyers group websites where people would register and indicate what products they need, and we would then assemble those ideas and put them into play and go out and negotiate supply and then bring it to either the central warehouse we talked about a minute ago, or to some sort of a drop shipping arrangement where it goes directly to the purchaser. So in summary, there are some action steps we could take at the buying level. We could use the economic power of ordinary Catholic families. This doesn't require heroic efforts. It doesn't require a lot of money. It just requires Catholics who want to buy services and products to get together, put it through a central network, a central process, a central place. And obviously we'd have to have people that would be in charge of this. They might be volunteers at first, or it might be paid people, because this could turn into quite a business. And they would go out into the marketplace and they would purchase all of these products and services for their customers. A sub point is that if you could buy from other Catholics, that would help to form the Catholic economy. We could be people then who could support each other, as many other groups in society have done for centuries, and we could create interesting buying opportunities. I think there would be significant discounts. At the very least, it would be easier to buy, because you yourself as one single buyer go out in the marketplace. You have to get bids, you have to get estimates, you have to take the time. But if you specified it and you worked with people who knew what they were talking about and put your bid in, so to speak, or put your request, your requirement into the central system, and then out we go and buy that product or that service, and then we bring it back to you at a much better price because of the volume. But also we would be supporting fellow Catholics, and then we as Catholics would be buying as a group. Altogether, this creates an economic force. Let me move to the second one, selling. Let's sell as Catholics. And so if we have let's say in a parish, a large parish, you might have 5 plumbers, 5 electricians. You might have some cabinet makers. Let's band those people together. Let's invite them into a central, some kind of a process where we introduce a marketing arrangement. They could become a marketing club. It's the opposite of the buy thing. It's the sell side of things. We could create, even in a city or a town, gather all the Catholic businesses, kind of a directory, you might say, and then do some global marketing. This is a famous issue. Many years ago, when I was running a tourism shop for a major Canadian city, I banded together the restaurants, the hotels, the attractions, the small and large tourism facilities that were offered to the visitor. And we created joint marketing efforts. We went to trade shows together. We went to, we printed publications together. We did social media. We did all sorts of ways. We combined the power of our funds to leverage the marketing message. It's an old lesson in economic development. If you are in a state or in a province, you're making greater impact in the worldwide community to attract investment by showcasing and highlighting the whole territory. If you highlight only one city, especially if you have competing 2 or 3 major cities in a state or in a province and they're competing, you're going to divide the market. But if you pool your resources and sell the region, it's interesting phenomenon. It's well known in the economic development circles. This is how more money is made, more investment is brought in. And so on the sell side, we could then we would identify Catholic businesses in some sort of a network arrangement, and we would then set up a set of standards, a set of codes, so that when we are selling, we can say that maybe there's a gold seal of some kind that is applied. And it's a little test that professionalizes the offering. And then if we marketed that in a joint manner, we could attract buyers, we could attract investment, we could attract customers for our services and products. Right now, if you look around, most Catholic businesses are doing this on their own. And so a clear action step could be that we could pool together our products and services and sell those jointly with sophisticated marketing, good social media, using Catholic standards, of course, in marketing and social media. We wouldn't do anything exploitive or that would be immoral or unethical, but we could get a powerful message across that we have quality products and quality services to sell, and we pool our resources to do this, and we then could create growth. We could expand, we could have new business startups, we could have all sorts of exciting prospects on the sell side. Let's move to the third item, which is the employment side of things. I've always respected people, Catholics, Catholic-owned businesses who hire fellow Catholics. Now, many people object to this because they think that this is settling for second best. They think this is like affirmative action or something. It's not. If we are Catholics trying to get each other to heaven, trying to evangelize, trying to spread the gospel, we need to pay charitable and just attention to each other, don't we? Isn't that the imperative? And so on the employment side, I have always proposed to people, and I propose it to you today, that some action steps are that we should create Catholic job boards. Now, we may have to word these things carefully in such a way that they don't overtly exclude others. That's going to be a problem because civil law and legislation, as you know, can be quite prohibitive in this area. But there are ways to identify a job board that attracts Catholic candidates and networks that create opportunities for employment. Similarly, on the supply side, if we had companies and businesses that seek employees, well, they could put their requests into a pool, and we could use that to stimulate some hiring and some referrals. I know of a parish right now who, during these recent times, is posting job availability in the parish bulletin. It's informal, it's not highly organized, but when companies identify that they have work available, it's in the parish bulletin. And usually, as I'm following this one instance, usually that job is filled with somebody from within the parish or through a network of 1 or 2 persons, kind of related in a sequence. It's really interesting to see that on the employment side, this works. We could create directories. There are a few Catholic directories, but honestly, if you look around, you don't see that many. We could create a powerful network, starting first in our parishes, and then moving beyond that to the town or the city, the wider community. And then why not across the United States, across Canada, create a powerful employment network. This goes on informally by many other groups in society. And so they have figured out a way to do this. and basically hire people of like mind, people of similar values, similar religions, similar viewpoints, similar organizations, similar age, similar demographics, even similar regional variations. It's all possible. Even similar industry groups, similar training backgrounds, similar experience backgrounds. There are many sophisticated ways to do it. If you look around, it seems to me that the Catholic community is randomizing this. We don't organize, we don't create a situation where we can hire Catholics, fellow Catholics. And of course, we'd have to keep the high standards. Of course, we'd have to be professional. Of course, we'd have to have a competitive process. Of course, we'd have to, have a meritocracy. It would have to be merit-based. All of those principles that are, you could say, friendly to the Catholic persuasion, we would have to adopt. But if we did this, if we hired Catholics, we could create an unemployment rate for Catholics that's lower than that of the rest of the economy. We could create job opportunities. We could possibly even influence wage rates and start moving towards a just wage and things like that. We could create employment stability. We could reflect and respect on the family. We could respect the fundamental unit of society, which is the family. So in this category then of employment, some action steps are that we could create job boards. We could organize ourselves to hire other Catholics, to specify in some very sophisticated way how we could hire other Catholics and how we could create networks and directories and bring together people of a like faith into our organizations. We could become then a powerful bulwark, a defense against the culture, and not only a defense against the culture, but also a strategic body of people that could then begin to influence the culture. If a particular industry, pick an industry, became heavily Catholic in your community, you could lobby then for fair-minded policies, for policies that support life, for policies that support, for example, home-based businesses, or that support hiring the disabled, things like that, that are part of the social teaching, the social policy of the Catholic Church. So without getting into too much detail, there are some action steps that we could take to improve the prospects for the people. The dignity of work requires that we help people in our parishes and in the wider community find work. And when that's not possible, why, or when someone is out of work, why would we then just leave it to that person individually and to the secular society? Why couldn't Catholics come together to help fellow Catholics find work? And similarly, to create job boards and postings and directories and networks and things like that. So that's another area for specific action steps. Let me move to the fourth case for action: investment. Catholics make up a part of the economy, and there are Catholics who have varying degrees of discretionary funds to invest, wealth, you could say, or who want to support the growth of Catholic businesses. If in the Catholic economy, we created many more new Catholic businesses, whether the starting up of a home-based business, a small home-based business to supplement family income, or an actual business that fully replaces the corporate downtown job that somebody would quit and move into a Catholic startup and start an entrepreneurial career by developing their own business. Imagine if we could set up in each parish a pool of capital. Let's say we've had a way to invite those who have some wealth or some discretionary income, or even the ordinary savings of people, a small percentage, let's say even the average family, if they set aside 5% of their income to invest in Catholic-owned businesses inside of their parish. Imagine what that would be like. We could create a pool of capital then that would form businesses that would support this startup, the early stages. It'd be like angel investing. We would have angel investor groups made up of some money locally inside of a parish. And we could either lend money like the old credit unions did in the parishes, or we could take equity positions inside the business and become part owners of a business. We could even fund co-ops. There's a lot of different corporate models, but the point is, there's no reason that we can't find a pool of investment dollars inside of our parishes to create a set of funds, whether for loans or for equity purchase, to start up new businesses. I know several wealth advisors across North America as a result of the recent summit that we've had. I've met at least 4 new different investment wealth advisor people in very disparate areas of Canada and the United States. And they all note that there's a need for this investment capital within parishes and local communities. And it's not done well enough. And so let's just leave it at that. There's certainly a lot of potential there. Another aspect of investment is advisory boards. When someone is a startup and they're doing a new business and they're in your parish, often they're out there trying to make it on their own. They're getting advice, maybe from their professional service provider, like their attorney, their lawyer, their accountant, their tax advisor, their bookkeeper. All good, nothing wrong with all of that. But what if every parish, every Catholic parish had a select group, a body of business advisors that would meet informally under confidential conditions, of course, with integrity, privacy, and all of the usual standards that apply in business. By the way, this wouldn't be anything new. These people that are business investment advisors are always subject to confidentiality, non-disclosure agreements, privacy arrangements, integrity, and all of these features. So this is not something new that we would have to introduce. But imagine in your parish, if you had 2 or 3 people, or 5 or 10 for that matter, who were experienced business people, who've been there, done that, who could then advise not only startups, but existing businesses. Imagine if we had that in every parish, and they would advise and they would give advice, and the conditions could be that, the advice doesn't have to be taken, but it could be welcomed. And so people could bring their situations. They could say, here, I have this problem, or here, I want to expand, or what do I do to enhance revenue? What do I do to create a better product? What do I do to attract capital? Inside of a parish, wouldn't it be interesting if we had action-oriented people like that? And an action step could literally be survey your parish, find 5 or 10 successful, well-known, perhaps, business leaders who've been there, done that, who have expertise and experience, put them together as an advisory board to train new entrepreneurs, to teach existing entrepreneurs, to help people grow their businesses, to avoid all the common mistakes, to problem solve, to solve critical matters that arise, emergencies, or to seek new opportunities and fill those. Wouldn't that be interesting? You are familiar maybe with the concept of accelerators and incubators. I can see in a larger community, let's say you're in a city that has 10 Catholic parishes. What if the 10 Catholic parishes banded together with their advisory boards that we've just spoken about and created a super advisory board of maybe the 10 or 15 top best business people with expertise and knowledge, and they actually formed an accelerator or an incubator where Catholic entrepreneurs could come together and start a new business, a software company, a technology, a traditional old line business, whatever, doesn't matter. But they would work under the usual conditions of an accelerator, which is that they get some training, they get some mentoring, they get some advice, they get some resources brought to them. There are speakers brought in, there are things taught that help them to accelerate. And the difference between an accelerator and an incubator is not much, actually. An incubator is a place where things can grow a little bit more slowly and organically. An accelerator intensively focuses the effort so that in 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever, the company accelerates its performance. But on the investment side, you need to bring together startups together in a co-working space. Imagine if church basements actually became, or church halls, parish halls became co-working space, just like the wider secular community out there does. And inside our parish, we had our own business people working in the basement of the church at low cost. Maybe they should contribute something, yes, or maybe it's volunteer. Either way, imagine how powerful that would be if we had business advisors from within our parish advising young people, mature people, startups, mature companies, whatever, advising them on how to accelerate and improve their business situation. And then we would create, again, another element of the Catholic economy. We'd have powerful startups. And then when you search for capital, We would employ the investment side of things. We would find people that had capital. We could support our own Catholic businesses. That would be something to see. We could look at simple things like teaching people how to make an investment pitch. At the Catholic CEO, we have a 12 key question investment pitch format, which answers the 12 most important questions on the mind of the investor in the sequence of the way the mind of the investor works. This has been developed. I've developed this over the last 25 years, and it's a powerful tool because in its completeness, it answers the 12 key questions. It answers them in the right sequence, and it does it all in a slide deck that takes 10 minutes to pitch. Imagine the skills that are taught when somebody learns how to do that. They can go out into the wider secular community and pitch for capital, just like anybody else. But it could happen within our own parishes, and there's no reason why we can't do this. And so we could improve in the area of advice. We could have problem-solving teams. I'm moving now to the fifth area, formally advising. We could have problem-solving teams. What if you had a network, a little squad, a powerful troubleshooting squad? If somebody in your parish is running a business and they've got a challenge, they may have an emergency, they may have a crisis, they may have something that has come up. They go to this private little group, they tell the story, they hear input and advice. This peer advisory model is very successful in the wider secular community. I've led these kind of groups for over 25 years. And our St. Joseph Forum in the Catholic CEO is a contributor to the Catholic economy by this very result. Out in the secular community, CEO peer groups where leaders of businesses come together, usually from non-competing businesses, under conditions of privacy and security and trust and integrity. They do problem solving, they stay current. There's a certain networking sort of element to it all. But the point is they all improve. They actually accelerate their performance. So our St. Joseph Forums, for example, are designed to do that. It's designed to create quicker solutions, watching your back, boldly moving ahead on innovation because you're getting the support of people who've done it before, and they can tell you, they can watch your back, they can tell you what to avoid, they can tell you what to do, when to make a move, when to pounce, when to make a quick move, and that sort of thing, when to pivot, when to give up, when to decide it's enough is enough. You know, there's all of these candid things that have to go on. And so we could have SWAT teams in our parishes that problem solve. We could have special teams that identify opportunities and create new businesses and help to finance them and help to attract and create a network where we can find young entrepreneurs or young potential people that, for example, could become entrepreneurs instead of going out and finding work and employment. Nothing wrong with employment, of course, but there's a certain percentage of the population that makes a good entrepreneur. And sometimes they don't know it. Sometimes they don't recognize in themselves. We often, all of us are prone to this. You know, we don't know what we don't know, or we don't know ourselves like others perceive us. And so inside of our parishes, what if we had an entrepreneurial team of people who looked out for promising young candidates or promising businesses or businesses that exist now but could be better if they only solve this or that challenge or that problem? And so on the advice side, we could also find people to solve problems. Let's say you're in your parish, you find a company that needs leadership. Let's say it needs a transition and it's not a family business and there's nobody in the family that's going to transition from the founder to the successor. But what if you found inside the parish somebody else and a group of, you could even call them elder statesmen if you like, you know, the gray-haired types who've been there and done that. They could literally train somebody. We're not talking full-time work here. We're not talking high-cost work, but we're talking Catholics caring for each other and helping each other to start businesses, create employment, and solve problems in the business, react to challenges and respond to situations and create much more effective businesses, which then, if they're successful, and when we use the financial simulation capability of our top quality spreadsheets, you keep hearing me talk about this, we could then finance things that are explicitly Catholic, like we could have wages and salaries and contracts that more appropriately move toward a just wage. And wouldn't that be interesting? Or what if we could find ways to support Catholic family life, where employees had some freedom and flexibility to be away from work at critical moments? And I'm not talking just what the secular culture offers now with these early, later starts and early leaving and all that sort of thing. Great. They're all creative ways, yes, but we could even be better. We could have Catholic feast days to spend with our families. We could have businesses that have Catholic priests come into the business and talk to employees about things. We could have prayer space in our businesses. We could do all sorts of things to be more overtly Catholic. So today I've tried to cover several areas with specific action steps. I believe that these action steps can be taken. They do contribute to the Catholic economy. Probably inside of every parish, if you look carefully, you could find a way to buy together as Catholics. You could find a way to sell together as Catholics. You could find a way to employ each other as Catholics and provide employment services. You could provide investment capital to fellow Catholics. You could train Catholics in how to accelerate their business performance and start new businesses and become entrepreneurial and therefore become independent of the culture and maybe create even multi-generational family businesses, which is really true independence, when you're not stuck in a corporate job somewhere doing the grind in a corporate world, but you're at home, near your family, working on something that is multi-generational and even that propels your family towards greater independence. And if we advised, if you look around in your parishes, I'm sure you can find people that could advise, who've been there, done that, who have been successful. So these are a few action steps in how we can create the Catholic economy. Let's talk more about this. Let me know what you think. Thanks for being here today. It's the Catholic CEO, Henry Katarna. Thanks for joining me today.